What if the simple act of taking home leftover food every day hid a secret so heartbreaking it could change a powerful CEO's life forever, revealing the quiet struggles of an ordinary man and leading to a surprise that no one saw coming? Every afternoon, as the bustling office cafeteria wound down, Alex, a quiet janitor with a gentle smile, approached the kitchen staff with a worn canvas bag. "Got any leftovers I can take home? Anything going to waste?" he'd ask softly, his voice barely rising above the clatter of dishes. The staff, used to his daily ritual, handed over whatever was left, half-eaten sandwiches, bruised apples, or cooling pasta, without a second thought. Alex always thanked them, his eyes warm but tired, before slipping out the back door. To the cooks, it was just Alex being frugal, maybe stretching his modest paycheck. To the office workers, he was a familiar but invisible presence, mopping floors and emptying bins while they rushed through their days. No one asked questions, not even Mr. Thompson, the CEO, whose sharp focus on profits left little room for noticing the lives of his staff. Yet Alex's routine was a quiet thread woven into the fabric of the office, unnoticed but constant. His worn jacket hung loosely on his thin frame, and his hands, callous from years of labor, clutched the bag tightly each evening as he left. There was something in his careful steps, a weight beyond the food he carried, that hinted at a story no one knew. The cafeteria staff sometimes whispered about him. Maybe he was saving for something big, or maybe he just hated waste. But no one pushed further, and Alex never offered more. In the gleaming corporate world of deadlines and deals, his small, daily act went unnoticed, a humble mystery tucked into the margins of a busy day, waiting for someone to wonder why a man like Alex carried home scraps with such care. Mr. Thompson, the CEO of the thriving company, had built his empire from the ground up, his days filled with boardroom battles and strategic wins. He prided himself on knowing his employees, at least their names and roles, but Alex, the quiet janitor, had never crossed his radar. That changed one afternoon when he overheard a cafeteria worker's offhand remark. "Alex again with his leftovers. Every single day." The comment stuck, sparking a flicker of curiosity in Mr. Thompson's mind. Why would someone, even a janitor on a tight budget, collect scraps so faithfully? Was it pride, poverty, or something deeper? From his glass-walled office, he began to notice Alex more, his faded jacket, the way he avoided eye contact during lunch breaks, and the careful way he tucked the bag of leftovers under his arm before leaving. The mystery gnawed at Mr. Thompson, a puzzle his business instincts couldn't ignore. He started lingering in the cafeteria, watching Alex's polite exchanges with the staff, his soft, "thank you," carrying a weight that felt heavier than gratitude. Was Alex in trouble? Feeding a pet? Or was it something more personal? Asking directly felt wrong, too intrusive for a man of his position, so Mr. Thompson kept his distance, observing silently. His curiosity grew into a quiet obsession, a need to understand this unassuming man who moved through the office like a shadow. Each day, as Alex left with his bag, Mr. Thompson's questions multiplied, tugging at a part of him he rarely acknowledged, a human instinct buried beneath years of corporate armor. By the week's end, he knew watching wasn't enough. He needed to know the truth behind Alex's daily ritual, no matter where it led. One chilly evening, Mr. Thompson's curiosity turned into action. Unable to shake the mystery of Alex's daily leftover ritual, the CEO made a decision that felt both reckless and necessary. As the office emptied, he lingered in his sleek car, parked discreetly across from the employee exit. When Alex emerged, clutching his familiar canvas bag, Mr. Thompson's heart thudded with a mix of guilt and resolve. He watched Alex trudge down the sidewalk, no car, just steady steps under the dim streetlights. Without overthinking, Mr. Thompson eased his car into traffic, following at a distance, his polished world of boardrooms fading behind him. Alex's path wound through the city's pulse, past neon-lit shops, into a quieter, grittier neighborhood where cracked sidewalks and sagging houses told stories of struggle. The CEO's pulse quickened. This wasn't his world, but Alex moved with purpose, unaware of the luxury sedan trailing him. When Alex stopped at a small, weathered house with peeling paint and a flickering porch light, Mr. Thompson parked far enough to stay unseen. His breath caught as he crept closer, crouching near a window, feeling like an intruder in a life he didn't understand. Peering through the smudged glass, he saw a scene that tightened his chest. The house was bare, the air heavy with quiet desperation. Alex's bag sat on a rickety table, its contents about to reveal a truth Mr. Thompson wasn't prepared for. Guilt gnawed at him for spying, but he couldn't turn away. Whatever lay inside that house, behind Alex's tired eyes and humble requests, was more than a routine. It was a story of sacrifice, and Mr. Thompson knew he was on the edge of discovering something that would change how he saw everything. Through the smudged window of the rundown house, Mr. Thompson's eyes locked onto a scene that pierced his heart. Inside, Alex knelt by a rickety table, gently unpacking the day's leftovers, sandwiches, a few apples, some cold pasta. But he wasn't alone. An elderly woman, frail and pale, sat in a worn chair, her hands trembling as she smiled weakly at Alex. A young girl, no older than 10, hovered close, her thin frame betraying days of hunger. Alex divided the food with care, giving the best portions to them first. "This is good today, Mom," he said softly, his voice steady despite the exhaustion in his eyes. "Eat up, Lila, it's your favorite." Mr. Thompson's throat tightened as the truth unfolded. Alex wasn't collecting scraps for himself. His mother, battling illness, and his little sister, dependent on him, relied on these leftovers to survive. Later, he learned Alex's father had died years ago, leaving him as the family's sole provider on a janitor's meager wage. Rent ate up most of it, leaving little for food or medicine. The bag of scraps, carried home each night, was often their only meal. Alex's quiet pride hid a daily fight to keep his family fed, his smile a mask for a burden no one in the office suspected. Mr. Thompson's eyes stung with tears as he watched Alex coax his mother to eat, his tenderness clashing with the stark poverty around them. The CEO felt the weight of his own privilege, his wealth, his distance from lives like this. He'd followed Alex to solve a mystery, but what he found was a story of love and sacrifice that shattered his world, demanding he do more than just watch from the shadows. The next morning, Mr. Thompson sat in his office, the image of Alex's humble home burned into his mind. The weight of what he'd seen, Alex's quiet heroism, feeding his sick mother and young sister with scraps, stirred something deep within him. He couldn't unsee the love in that shabby house, or the struggle Alex hid behind his tired smile. Summoning courage, he called Alex in, his usual CEO confidence softened by humility. "I've noticed your hard work," he began, then admitted he'd followed Alex, not out of suspicion, but because he cared. Alex's face flushed with embarrassment, his eyes dropping, but Mr. Thompson pressed on. "You're not alone anymore, Alex." In a moment that changed everything, he announced a significant raise for Alex, enough to cover rent and more. He arranged medical care for Alex's mother, and weekly grocery deliveries for the family. Inspired by Alex's selflessness, Mr. Thompson went further, launching a company fund to support struggling employees, ensuring no one else would have to beg for leftovers. Alex, overwhelmed, could only whisper, "Thank you," his voice thick with relief. In the weeks that followed, his mother's health improved, and his sister's laughter filled their home, no longer haunted by hunger. Alex's smile, once a mask, grew genuine, radiating a quiet pride that touched everyone around him. For Mr. Thompson, the change ran deeper. He saw his company, and himself, through new eyes, valuing the human stories behind the work. What began as a curious glance at a janitor's routine ended as a lesson in compassion, proving that one small act of kindness could ripple outward, turning struggle into hope and reminding everyone that the truest wealth lies in lifting each other up. If this story touched your heart, like, comment, and share to spread the hope. Subscribe to Human Fables for more real stories that inspire and connect us all.